This is Lenny, who faces giant 70-foot waves for a living. After a scary crash broke his helmet and left him bleeding from the ear, he didn't quit. He actually went back to surf the same deadly wave backwards.
And I remember just doing a big pump on this big board, and I went to grab the rail to shoot through the curtain, and I just sort of slipped off the front. As soon as I hit the water, it just went black.
This is the incredible story of the world's best surfer. The truth about his journey is hard to believe. Let me show you everything. On October 8, 1992, a boy was born in Payne, on the north shore of Maui, Hawaii. His parents, Martin and Paula Lenny, were not from Hawaii. They had moved from the mainland in 1985. Not for money, not for a job. They moved because they were obsessed with the ocean. Before Martin became a real estate professional, he helped manage Mama's Fish House, one of the most famous restaurants on Maui. Paula became a physician, but the ocean was always the center of everything. They named their son Kai. In Hawaiian, Kai means sea. In Sierra Leone, it means king of kings. In the Frisian language, it means warrior. It is almost like the name was a prophecy. Kai started surfing at age 4, not 5, 4 years old, on the south shore of Maui. And he would later say he still remembers the feeling of his very first wave. He says it feels identical to the rush he gets riding a 70-foot giant. By age 6, he was windsurfing on his own. By 7, he was stand-up paddleboarding. By 9, he was kite surfing and foilboarding. Think about that for 1 second. Most kids that age are playing video games. Lenny was already competing in multiple ocean sports. At age 8, something happened that Kai's father Martin has never forgotten. Laird Hamilton, one of the greatest big wave surfers in history, was renting a house just down the street from the Lenny family. For weeks, young Kai begged his father to go meet him. Martin finally said, "If you want to meet him, go knock on the door yourself." One day, Kai walked down the street alone. He knocked on Laird Hamilton's door. Laird opened it. Kai was so nervous he could not speak a single word. He went silent. But when he walked home, he turned to his father and said, "Dad, I am going to be a big wave surfer one day." He was 8 years old. At age 10, Lenny received his first professional sponsorship. He was still in elementary school. By 13, he was a Red Bull athlete after finishing near the top of a kitesurfing competition. Red Bull does not sign 13-year-olds unless they see something completely exceptional. In 2009, when he was 17 years old, Kai was named Windsurfing Rookie of the Year. Not one of the best rookies, the best, across the entire sport. But the moment that changed everything came in 2010. At just 18 years old, Lenny won the very first stand-up World Tour Championship. He was the youngest person to ever win it. He dominated the season finals on Oahu against grown men, professionals, and athletes who had been competing for decades.
Beginning of last year, I had no idea that this would be happening.
This was not a local event. This was the first ever world championship in the sport of stand-up paddleboarding. And the first person to win it was an 18-year-old kid from Payne. And that was only the beginning. Kai would go on to win 8 stand-up paddleboarding world titles. 8! He became the most dominant athlete in the history of the sport. But here is what most people do not know. Even while winning those world titles, Kai was quietly training for something far more dangerous. Lenny grew up watching Laird Hamilton, Dave Kalama, and Robbie Naish from the cliffs above Jaws, the legendary big wave break on Maui that locals call Payne. Some of his earliest memories are of standing on that cliff, watching his heroes drop into waves that looked impossible. When Kai was 16, Laird Hamilton introduced him to Jaws in person. His first time actually surfing the break, he was on a foilboard alongside Laird and Dave Kalama, 2 of the men who invented modern big wave tow surfing. He later windsurfed it, kite surfed it, tow surfed it. He studied every angle of that wave obsessively. His father described watching him and said it was clear Kai was not just chasing thrills. He was building a master plan. Kai does not just paddle out and wing it. He watches hours of video before surfing any new break. He carefully selects and tests every single piece of equipment. He is, in the words of one surf journalist, a methodical and highly organized professional in the body of a fearless daredevil. Shane Dorian, considered one of the greatest big wave surfers ever, said this about Kai. He seems to bridge the gap between surfing super technically on a shorter board with an aggressive style and going for really big waves. That is a rare combination. Albie Layer, another elite surfer, put it even more simply. He said watching Kai on a big wave is like watching someone express themselves. Not just survive, express. That is the difference between Lenny and everyone else. but he doesn't do it entirely alone. His younger brother Ridge Lenny is often his trusted tow partner, forming a brotherhood and an unspoken bond that makes surviving these giants possible. Let me give you a sense of how relentlessly Kai Lenny pushes limits. In 2012, he won first place at both the Hawaii Island Finals SUP Pro and the Sunset Beach SUP Pro in the same year. He was 20 years old. Then he started setting records on open ocean crossings. The Molokai to Oahu Channel crossing, known as the Channel of Bones, is one of the most brutal ocean races on Earth. 26 miles of deep water, powerful currents, and massive swells. Kai won it on a stand-up paddleboard multiple times. Then, in April 2017, he decided to foil the crossing on his own, outside a race, purely to see how fast he could go. He completed it in 3 hours and 26 minutes, beating the all-time record across every paddling discipline. In 2017, he did something even more ambitious. He set a Red Bull challenge for himself, called the Downwind Voyage for Change.
What I love most about the hydrofoils is the incredible applications that it has. The size of waves you can ride and the distances you can cover are virtually endless.
He hydrofoiled between all 6 major Hawaiian islands, covering roughly 170 miles total. Then on every island, he led beach cleanups and partnered with conservation groups to collect over 3 tons of plastic waste, the largest statewide beach cleanup in Hawaii's history. But he wasn't done. In July 2018, competing in the newly added Foilboard division of the World Championship race, Kai absolutely smashed his own time. He finished the entire crossing in 2 hours, 52 minutes, and 58 seconds. But still, the big waves were calling him. If Jaws is the most famous big wave in America, Nazare in Portugal is the most terrifying on Earth. The waves there can reach 100 feet. The underwater canyon funnels the entire Atlantic Ocean into one monstrous peak. Surfers have described it as riding a building. In 2019, Kai won the WSL Big Wave Award for both Biggest Wave and Best Overall Performance. Not one of those, both. Then in February 2020, on February 11th specifically, Kai Lenny teamed up with Brazilian surfer Lucas Chianca, known as Chumbo, at the Nazare Toe Surfing Challenge. Together they dominated the event. Kai won the Men's Wave of the Day award for a ride on a wave estimated at over 70 feet. They also won the Team Champions title together. The footage of that ride traveled across the world. Millions of people who had never watched surfing in their lives watched Kai Lenny drop down that wave and could not believe what they were seeing. In 2021, he won the Red Bull Big Wave Awards Performer of the Year. And that same year, the world started paying attention in a completely different way. In 2019, a photograph appeared on social media. It showed Mark Zuckerberg, the founder of Facebook and one of the wealthiest people on the planet, on a foilboard in Kauai with Kai Lenny. Zuckerberg posted it with the caption, "Trying a new sport in Kauai with one of the best, Kai Lenny." The internet lost its mind, and the story got wilder from there. Kai had already quietly been spending time with some of the most powerful people in tech. Sergey Brin, co-founder of Google, had come out to watch Kai surf Mavericks from the safety of a boat. Sir Richard Branson had brought Kai to his private island in the Caribbean, where Kai taught him to kite foil. But the friendship with Zuckerberg was the one that went viral. In a 2021 Meta presentation about the metaverse, Zuckerberg used animated versions of himself and Kai foiling together in a virtual ocean. Kai called him magical during the presentation.
You know, that was an option. You're not gonna catch me now. Take that, unicorn. Oh, Tube City!
Kai, you're out of control.
Don't worry, I'll let you win next time. All good. Oh, that was a close one. You want to go again?
Maybe later. I'm gonna need a lot more sunscreen now.
In real life, Kai has been open about what he sees in these friendships. He once said, "I think the biggest attraction to all these people who have all the money in the world is that you can't buy surfing ability. You can't buy the pecking order." There was also a foil injury that nearly killed him around this time. While attempting a backflip on his foilboard in Maui, Kai wiped out, and the hydrofoil blade slashed his chest, perilously close to his heart. He recovered. He went back out. Kai Lenny married Molly Payne, a Maui-based interior designer, in what was described as a beautiful elopement on Maui. Molly is the sister of Dusty Payne, a professional surfer who was initially skeptical of the SUP riding Kai Lenny, according to reports. That makes the family story even more interesting. On April 4th, 2022, Molly and Kai welcomed twin daughters, Willa Mahina Lenny and Senna Malia Lenny. Before the twins were born, Kai revealed their gender in the most Kai Lenny way possible. Toe surfing a massive wave at Jaws while pulling a pink smoke canister, leaving a giant pink cloud across the ocean face. People often ask Kai how becoming a father changed him. He talks about balance, about being present, about his daughters watching him surf and the responsibility that comes with that. He set up the Positively Kai Foundation in May 2021, a non-profit organization focused on helping children in Hawaii and around the world connect with the ocean and pursue their passions. The foundation has donated tens of thousands of dollars to Hawaiian youth programs and participated in charitable events across the islands. Then on August 8, 2023, the worst wildfire in modern American history tore through Lahaina on Maui. Over 100 people died. Thousands lost their homes. The fire destroyed the heart of a community that Kai had grown up watching. Kai was devastated. He spoke out publicly, appeared in outreach campaigns for the victims, and directed his foundation's energy toward helping Maui Fire survivors. It was the moment that showed the world Lenny was not just a water athlete. He was a human being who cared deeply about the island that made him. Lenny was competing in the Dahui backdoor shootout at Pipeline on Oahu's North Shore. Pipeline is one of the most famous and most dangerous surf breaks in the world. The wave throws over a shallow coral reef. People have died there. Something made Kai put on a helmet that day. It was his first time ever wearing one at Pipeline. He had a conversation with Koa Smith before the heat. Koa is a surfer who nearly died from a traumatic brain injury and is now an advocate for helmet use. That conversation changed Kai's mind. He paddled out wearing the helmet. Then the wave hit him. The wipeout did not look dramatic on camera. It was not a giant bomb. It looked almost routine. But underneath the surface, something terrible happened. Kai was slammed into the reef. He blacked out completely. He lost total memory of the impact and the terrifying minutes that followed. He surfaced. He paddled to shore. He walked up the beach. And then, he woke up sitting in a chair at the lifeguard tower with no memory of how he got there. He was rushed to Palimomi Medical Center near Pearl Harbor. His helmet was cracked completely in half. Doctors found a severe concussion and bleeding from his left ear. He posted from his hospital bed holding the shattered helmet and wrote, "First time wearing a helmet at Pipeline and it may have saved my life." Later he said, "I would rather break every bone in my body than hit my head. Your head is responsible for your reality, and my reality was completely gone." He worked with Dr. Jason Kiefer at Brain Health Hawaii on his recovery. Brain scans. Treatment. He became a public advocate for helmet use in heavy surf and said, "There is not one wave on Earth that is more important than you being alive. But how do you recover from a near-death experience at Pipeline? If you are Lenny, you go right back." Later in 2024, he returned to the exact same wave that cracked his helmet in half. And he didn't just survive it, he surfed its switch stance, riding completely backwards, mocking the very wave that almost took his life. Today, at 33 years old, Lenny stands alone. 8 stand-up paddleboarding world titles, Nazare Toe Surfing Challenge champion, WSL Big Wave Award winner for Biggest Wave and Performance of the Year, multiple Molokai to Oahu crossing records, SIMA Waterman of the Year 2019, the youngest person ever inducted into the Surfers Hall of Fame at just 26 years old. He continues to appear on Red Bull TV's Life of Kai series, which has now run for 4 seasons, following him around the world on his craziest missions. In late 2024, he teamed up again with Lucas Chianca at the Tudor Nazare Big Wave Challenge, continuing to push the limits of what is possible on the biggest waves alive. But here is what gets me the most about Lenny. It is not the records, it is not the titles, it is not the billionaire friendships or the near-death escapes. It is that in every single interview, across every decade of his career, he says the same thing.
Not so much beating someone else, but kind of like proving to myself that, okay, I've reached this certain point and where can I go next? It's like winning is just, basically having a lot of fun doing it.
That his goal is still the same as when he was a 4-year-old kid catching his first wave on the south shore of Maui. He just wants to ride waves. Laird Hamilton nicknamed him the Renaissance Kid. The ocean world calls him Aquaman. Zuckerberg called him magical. But Lenny just calls himself a waterman. And somewhere on the north shore of Maui right now, that man is either in the ocean or thinking about getting back in it. If this story hit different for you, drop a comment below. Tell me which part of Lenny's journey shocked you the most. Was it the Pipeline concussion? The Nazare wave? The fact that he was already sponsored at 10 years old? I read every single comment. And if you want more documentary-style deep dives into the most unbelievable athletes alive right now, subscribe and hit the bell, because the next one coming is going to be even bigger. See you there!